Hello everybody, Jessica here. Welcome back to my channel. I am here to do a junk journal July, and I'm a little bit behind. I've done Good Vibes, Pop of Color. This is my Pop of Color. Negative Space. This was my Negative Space one. That's my favorite so far. And Tickets and Tags, although I'm really happy with how these came out as well. So, in the interests of catching up, I am going to try and do a three-fer. I want to do a fold out, layers, and framed all in one. And I have a cunning plan. So yes, I don't feel like it's cheating. I feel like it's a challenge. So I'm going to stick that back in here. So what I have, put this away, is I have some pages from some bird guides. This is just a Peterson bird guide, and this one is from hold on, let me grab it for a sec. This is the Birds of Britain and Europe, and it's actually probably a much nicer field guide than the Peterson ones, just because there's an illustration on every page. The maps go along with the illustration, and I just think it's a really nicely done field guide. I mean, this is nice, and I like this cover too. So in any case, as far as field guides go, that's a really nice one. Luckily, putting this back, hold on. Here I am. Luckily, my favorite bird is the Leach's storm petrel. It's the bird that my husband and I were studying. We were working on a research project when we met on an island in the Bay of Fundy. And I actually have a moth that I did where I went and I performed the story of how we met. And I will link that below, and you can watch my moth. So this is going to be what gets framed. That's going to be the back layer and what is framed. So these papers are what I want to use. Maybe I'll save that fly sheet as, so these are papers from a Peterson field guide, and oh, there's the map. Oh, so be it. And I want to create some layers with a window, a torn window, and have this fold out and then have this be behind. So I've got my layers. I'll have my, oh gosh, what was it? Framed. Hold on. Fold out, layers, and framed. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to put this away for a minute so that I can work on these. And I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to glue just around the edges of each of these pages in the signature from the book. So just around the edges, because I want to tear it. Oceanic birds. Ugh. See, I love all of these. There's Wilson's petrel, Leach's petrel. I'm going to save that one. Saving that page out. Oh, look at that illustration. Like, it's so hard. I love all of these pages. Okay, so there's one. And that will go on top there. And doesn't matter to me if they're wonky. In fact, if they are a little wonky, that will give it a little bit more of an indication that they are layered. So I think I might emphasize the wonk. Loons and grebes. Oh, sure, I'm going to put that one on top. Yeah, so generally the story goes when I was in college, my college that I went to, I pretty much specifically chose that college because they had this research station on an island out in the Bay of Fundy, where you could go and you could study seabirds. And I just loved that idea. I wanted to go into field biology, and that just seemed like the perfect place to learn how to do it. So I didn't know anything about birds. I grew up in Brooklyn, and I knew that there were little brown birds and pigeons everywhere, and that was about the extent of my experience. So I want this Shearwaters and Fulmars title sticking up. So I'm going to do this. How did I do on the back there? That's all right. I want this one sticking out. I want my Leech's storm petrel to not get torn, so I'm gonna have that one sticking out a little bit as well. I'll go down in that corner, and I will go up in this, corner, and then across here, and maybe down this side here. Okay. And then my storm petrels, I want this to be shown. Sorry, little Corey Shearwater. And I want this here. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so I took ornithology and I learned about birds. I almost didn't get the summer job because the professor thought I didn't know enough about birds. But I prevailed. I expressed my interest. I was very upset because I was like, well, everybody else in the course knew what a chickadee was before they went to college. And I was like, I didn't know what a chickadee was before I went to college. I mean, it just wasn't on my radar. But anyway, it all worked out, and they paired me up with this handsome young man from New Hampshire. And the rest is history, and you'll have to watch The Moth to find out the details. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take my handy dandy craft knife, and I want to cut some holes in this paper. And I don't want to go all the way through. My main cut, I want to be kind of centered like this. And I'm not going to cut them off. I kind of want to roll things back. Like that. So this is going to be my layers and framing all at once. So let's see, I'm gonna tear this a little bit back, but I want to leave this thing about Leech's storm petrels. So I could bring this one back a little bit. Just rolling that back. Am I inking? That's an interesting question. I heard you ask that. Maybe at the end I'll go through the center there. This could actually, there we go. So we get kind of a circle. So then I can go like this. That's okay. I want it to be layered and torn like so. Like that. Until we get to the bottom layer. Oops, I'm covering up my little leeches. My little leeches. I love you, my little leeches. So this is what the bird that my company name is actually named after. So my Etsy store is Oceanodroma Journals. And back when we started studying them in college, that was the genus name. Their scientific name is Oceanodroma leucorhoa. And they've since changed the name, but because of the significance of the time, I don't care. I don't pay attention to the new name. It will always be Oceanodroma to me. Okay, so that is my frame, and it's going to frame my, well, there it is, leeches, storm petrel. And then I'm also going to make this a flip. So, where's my cork? Here's my cork. Okay, ink. Let's ink a little. I want vintage photo. I've been using walnut stain. I actually got someone who asked me to recreate the pressboard flip-flap folio because they had missed it when it went on sale. So I'm taking a break from my Celestial journal. That's Wilson's. There's leeches. And there's leeches right there. To work on that, which is kind of exciting. I haven't had a request for a custom order in a really long time, so that was kind of fun. And it's interesting to do. I don't often do the same journal a second time after I've already like completed it. I did once. I did a whole series, but I was working on them simultaneously. See there? Oceanodroma, that's my business name, and that is the name of the genus name of the bird. Okay, so all of these things need to get glued down in such a way that there are going to, oh, there's leeches swimming. There's a leeches swimming. I think maybe I will no, that's okay. I can do that. It's gonna just fit on the page. So I am going to glue this down. And I'm gluing it down. I kind of had it pinched where I want it to go, so I'm just going to do one side at a time. I'm going to glue this one right down. And then this is actual ledger, by the way, that I'm gluing it on and covering up. I don't know, that's fine. And then this is going to get hinged so that it's a flip out right there. And then you can, so I want to be able to still see the other storm petrels because they are the favorites. And I think I'm going to use, where is it? Some of this tape. This brown, like, packaging tape, postal tape, it's fantastic stuff. So I'm going to just hinge all of this together. So I've stamped July on the preceding page. How do I want to do this? Because it's kind of sticky outy. This would be a good spot right there. So maybe I need to use a smaller piece. Let's try this first. Okay, I'm going to not cover up my July too much. That may not work. That may not be enough anchor. It's okay. And I'm going to fold it so it can hinge. I guess it also looks a little bit like a tab. How does that close? That works okay. I'm going to take another strip and layer. I know, I'm sorry, I'm off camera. I just want to layer that down. And that hinges like that. Maybe I will do a little bit of a hinge on the inside as well. So that is a fold out flip kind of a deal. And that will close hopefully all right like that. And we have our leeches. This is leeches here. Oh, it's not all right, well, we can still see it, but it's not exactly what I wanted. I wanted to be able to see the word leeches, but that's okay. So here we have layers, we have a flip, and we have some framed sword petrel. This is another petrel. This is a generic storm petrel in flight, but you can see the rump patch. This is how you tell the different species, is by the rump patches, and by how much white they have on their wings. These birds spend the first 3 years of their lives entirely at sea, and you see them out in the middle of the ocean dabbling their feet in the water. Also, Wilsons have yellow webbing between their toes, and leeches have black, and they eat krill and euphausiids just like whales. And then they come back to the same islands on which they were born, and they nest in burrows on the ground, and they mate with the same bird. They're related to albatrosses. Albatrosses are tube noses as well. And they find their babies in the middle of the night because they fly in at night to avoid predators like owls and other large birds of prey. And they find their burrows by scent, and they call out. They say, "Doodle doo doo doo," and boom. I just love these birds. They're so sweet. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to write over here. This is Junk Journal July. I know I keep saying January. And we have number, we have number 5 was a fold out. We have number 6, which was layers on layers. And we have 7, which is framed. And that is my kind of quick Junk Journal July, days 5, 6, and 7, which gets me all caught up. So it was a little less involved than some of these other ones, but no less heartfelt. These are my favorite birds. Shearwaters, if you've ever had the chance to see a northern fulmar flying on the ocean, in the waves, in a storm, they love their lives. They glide, and it's like they're trying to get as close to the waves as they can without touching. And Yeah, they're just, they love the ocean and they love their lives. They're great birds. Okay. I hope you all have a lovely day. I hope you can get out to the ocean and stay well. Bye-bye.